Welcome to Well Body. I'm Renee, your host, and this is the podcast for everything your body needs as a woman to become healthier and fitter effortlessly. Here, we're all about feeling energized, beautiful, strong, and going from zero to thriving. Let's ditch the Fitspo diet culture once and for all and start living your best life with methods that actually make real lasting changes. It's time to embrace the journey to a well body holistically. Let's dive in together. Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to the Well Body podcast, where we ditch the diet culture and do health in a way that actually feels good. I'm your host, Renee, and today we're diving into a big one, and that is hormones. Now, the reason why I want to touch on hormones is because I'm celebrating the launch of the Cycle Sync Club, which is my new online platform, my online club that helps women connect with their hormones and their health on a deeper level. I teach you all about your menstrual cycle, I teach you all about your hormones, and I teach you how to exercise and nourish your body to ensure that you are thriving as a woman. If you're interested in joining the Cycle Sync Club, check out the show notes below, as it'll take you straight to the link on my website to give you more info on how you can be a part of the coolest club online. Now, into the podcast. So I know that the word hormones can sound very overwhelming, but you know what? Your hormones are not something to fear. They are powerful chemical messengers, and when you understand them, when you nourish them and train in a way that works with them, your energy shifts, your body feels aligned, and life will just flow better. I think hormones have got a bit of a scary reputation online, and I'm seeing a lot of people going, oh, my hormones are out of whack, my hormones are not balanced, this, that, and the other. And a lot of people don't actually know what hormones are. So, in this episode, we're going to talk about the key hormones that drive your energy, mood, metabolism, and weight, and how to eat and train to support these hormones. Also, the signs that your hormones might be slightly out of balance, and what you can do starting today to work with your body and not against it. So let's dive into it. All right, the core hormones to know. So let's begin to talk about the big players in our hormone world for women. Now, the first one I'm going to talk about is estrogen. Estrogen is your queen bee. It gives you curves, keeps your skin glowing, supports your bones, and affects your brain, mood, and metabolism. It rises in the first half of your cycle, which is your follicular phase, and gives you that vibrant, get shit done kind of energy. And when estrogen is too low, you might feel brain fog, fatigue, dry skin, low libido. Or if it's too high, you may feel bloated, moody, or have heavy periods. So how can we support it? Well, we can support it through our nutrition, making sure that we are eating plenty of crucifixous vegetables such as broccoli, kale, cauliflower to help detox excess estrogen. Also making sure we're eating enough protein and good fats to keep hormones stable. And then strength training to support metabolism and bone health. So if you're eating a diet that is rich in protein and good fats, you're eating enough vegetables and making sure you're getting enough crucifixous vegetables, as well as lifting weights and strength training, you're going to be supporting your metabolism, your bone health, but you're also going to keep that estrogen hormone stable. Okay. Now, the next hormone we're going to touch on is progesterone. This one here is your calming hormone. Think sleep, chill, calm mood, and period regulation. It rises after ovulation in your luteal phase. Now, low progesterone, a sign that you have low progesterone, try to say that 10 times, is that you might feel anxious, have trouble sleeping, or experience a bit of spotting before your period. So how can we support progesterone? Well, we can support it with magnesium-rich foods, pumpkin seeds, leafy greens, even a bit of dark chocolate, some complex carbs, and this is why it's really important we don't cut carbs in our luteal phase, and we make sure that we've got some kumara or some pumpkin or some potatoes or some more starchier vegetables or a bit of rice to help support our progesterone throughout our luteal phase. And also just incorporating some more restorative movement in amongst your strength training, like some Pilates, some walking, or even just some slower strength sessions, okay? A lot of the times I will tell a lot of my women who are struggling with their luteal phase and their progesterone to go out in nature and go for a walk and regulate their nervous system, which they really love incorporating. So these are some signs and symptoms if your progesterone is low. But if you really want to know, the best way that you can do this is by tracking your cycle for at least 2 months and writing down the symptoms of every day. Now, I know that sounds like a lot of admin, but if we really want to get to the core, of what's going on with our health in our bodies, and we want to feel healthy and we want to thrive optimally, sometimes we do have to do a bit of work. There's nothing's going to change without doing a bit of work and taking some action. So track your cycle for at least 2 months, even 3 if you can, and obviously start trying to implement some lifestyle changes and factors within that as well. But start to really list down all your signs and symptoms, because some of the best feedback that we can give our health professionals is the biofeedback that we record on ourselves. Okay, so writing down things like, I felt low in energy today, I had no energy past 1 p.m, I had so much fatigue, I just didn't even want to look at my partner without killing him, sex was just not on the cards this month, just things that you find are normally quite okay for you, but you're experiencing issues with. So writing down every single symptom, recording the foods that you eat to see if there's any, lack of protein or nutrients that you're not receiving, and also making sure you're noting down the types of exercise you do and how that makes you feel as well. So getting a good record and diary of actually how you're feeling each day in your cycle, because then you can go to your doctor, your GP, or your chosen health professional and be like, look, this is what's going on with me. This is what I'm doing. Can we get some blood tests so we can look at my hormone levels? And then, if you give them that biofeedback and you're advocating for yourself and you're advocating for your needs and your health, hopefully they'll then put you into the space where you can get those bloods done, you can look at things further, and then work with someone to help you improve your nutrition, to improve your hormones, to improve your lifestyle. And once you start to make those improvements, if you're still not seeing change, that's when you can go, right, now I need to look at adding in some supplementation. But when you're trying to improve your health and your hormones, it's not going to happen overnight. It's something that takes time and a lot of patience and a lot of tracking and journaling and diarying, if that's even a word. Getting a lot of biofeedback so that you can work with your body. And every cycle is a great opportunity for you to get more amazing feedback on what's going on in your body. So just a side note, the whole hormone talk, I just want to note how important it is that estrogen and progesterone need to be in a beautiful balance within your body to help you with a regular menstrual cycle that works for you. So make sure you are recording your cycle. The next hormone I want to touch on is testosterone. Yes, ladies, we have it too. Okay, it helps you to build muscle, it helps to boost libido, and it can support your confidence. If it's low, you may feel flat or have trouble building muscle. If it's too high, which is common with women who have PCOS, you might get acne or unwanted hair growth. So how can we support testosterone? Well, we can build muscle with resistance training. We can reduce our stress as much as we can to keep our cortisol in check and support blood sugar with balanced meals. So if you're seeing a common trend here with nutrition, strength training, and stress management, it's because these 3 tools are so important to help with managing your hormone health, okay? Then we move on to insulin. So this one isn't just for diabetics. Insulin helps your cells to absorb glucose, which is your body's main fuel. If your insulin is out of whack, it impacts everything from weight to energy to cravings. How can we support insulin levels? Well, we can support it with eating protein and fats with your carbohydrates. So don't just eat carbs on their own. Okay, if you're eating a scone on its own and then you're eating a sandwich with very little protein in it, let's say it's just got honey on it, then you have some fruit and you're eating very low protein and not even near enough good fats and protein, and only eating carbohydrates, that's going to be an issue for your blood sugar levels and your insulin. So we need to make sure we're having balanced meals. We want to avoid constant snacking as well, because again, you could be constantly snacking on really high carbohydrate foods. Now, I don't want to demonize carbohydrates because they are very important to support your hormones, but we don't want to be eating them on their own. Every meal needs to be balanced, okay, with protein, fats, and carbohydrates. We also want to make sure that we're prioritizing enough fiber and strength training, again, to help manage our insulin. So again, muscle building is so important for your overall hormone health. Then we have cortisol, which is your stress hormone, which you're probably seeing a lot online, like everyone talking about having cortisol face. But cortisol is actually your stress hormone, and it is a helpful hormone. We need cortisol, but we can also have a little bit too much, which will throw your cycle off, make you crave sugar and mess with your sleep. It might even make it harder to lose fat in some cases. But how can we support cortisol? Through better sleep, nervous system tools like breath work, walking and just unplugging. Turn your phone off and stop replying to messages every 5 seconds. You don't need to do that. Turn your notifications off so that you're not feeling constantly anxious every time it dings. Have an alarm clock that is not so intense like my husband's, and I'm always telling him, can you please change your alarm? It fucking annoys me. Like my nervous system is like, luckily I get up before most mornings anyway, but yeah, have an alarm that is soothing and gentle and is going to wake you up. And also, there might be certain times throughout your cycle where you need to lower the intensity in your training during your late luteal phase and even menstruation phase, especially if you're feeling really stressed and you're feeling really puffy within yourself, and you feel as though that as you move through high intensity movements, you actually don't feel any better, you feel worse, and that's when you know you probably need to just lower the intensity that day. So that's where we need to apply that listening to your body rule without letting listening to our body stop us from doing anything, but just going, I'm feeling stressed, I'm tired, I've had 5 hours sleep, work's been crazy, the kids are driving me nuts, I need to just do something maybe a little bit more mindful today. But you might get into that session and go, actually, I feel like I can push hard, I can go for a bit of a run, then maybe I can lift some heavier weights. So really, honestly listen to your body. Don't just go, no, I'm not doing it today, I'm stressed. Do some kind of movement, because as I said, getting out in nature and going for a walk can be one of the best things to regulate your nervous system, and also just get in some beautiful movement. So how can we nourish our hormones? So I've only touched on 5 here. There are a lot more hormones in the body, but I just wanted to touch on these key 5 ones today. In the Cycle Sync Club, I do go into a little bit more depth on the other hormones that your body has and you need to know about. So if you're interested in learning more, make sure you go and check out the show notes to learn more about how you can join the Cycle Sync Club. Okay, so how can we nourish our hormones? So your hormones love nourishment, and this is not about restriction, it's about fuel. Okay, we're not having 1,000 calories and fasting. We are supporting our hormones with eating enough. So undereating is one of the biggest stresses for your hormones. Okay, your body will literally downregulate hormone production if it thinks that you're in a famine. Because if you were starving, right, in the wild, why would your body allow you to have a pregnancy that month? It wouldn't want you to, because you can barely feed yourself, let alone a baby growing inside of you. So your body will go into a bit of a survival mode. It'll downregulate hormone production so that you can just survive and get through the famine. So when we're under eating, let's say 1,000 calories below your, basal metabolic rate, this can be an issue and cause a lot of stress. And that's why if you're ever doing a calorie deficit to achieve fat loss, you need to make sure that you're doing it with support and you're doing it safely and you know what you're doing. A lot of people will just jump straight into a calorie deficit, not even doing a metabolic reset, not even knowing anything about their hormones, not even knowing anything about reverse dieting, not even knowing anything about making sure they're not eating below their basal metabolic rate. So it is really important to make sure that if you are going to be doing a calorie deficit and you're eating lower amounts of calories, you're doing it with support and you're investing in a professional to help you, because it can be detrimental and you could actually take yourself 10 steps backwards rather than moving forward. So undereating can be a massive issue for your hormones. I've worked with a lot of women who have lost their periods over time because they've undereaten for so long. I was one of those people years ago when I was 21. I lost my period for 7 months because I was undereating and overexercising, not getting enough sleep, and burning the candle at every end possible. This became an issue for my hormones, and then it triggered a whole lot of digestive issues, and oh God, it was terrible. But I was, doing a HIIT session every day, and then I was going to the gym, and I was staying up late, and then I was drinking on the weekends, and it was too much. My body didn't like it, so let me know about it. We definitely got back there, back into a good place, of course, but undereating can be an issue. So make sure you're not doing one of those 900 calorie a day diets. It is not going to help your body. It's not going to serve your hormones. It's a really hard thing to put yourself through. I also just want to make it clear, when I say not eating enough can, in terms of calories, is going to be an issue. You're going to lose a lot of weight and be very undernourished, very low energy, low libido, affect your menstrual cycle, which is not healthy. But also I think some people get confused when they say they're not eating enough and that's why they're not losing weight. It's actually physically impossible to not lose weight if you're not eating enough, because, and we've never seen this in studies, and generally you're not eating enough fuel and food, you're just eating really high calorie dense, not so nutrient foods therefore you're not eating enough, if that makes sense. So when I say not eating enough, you might not be eating enough of the nourishing foods that your body needs to thrive. Okay, but you might be eating a scone, a sandwich, and a TV dinner, and all of that adds up to about 3,000 calories. So yes, you're not technically eating enough, but you're not actually eating enough nutrients. And then we've got the not eating enough, which is where you're actually actively under-eating, and it's dangerously under-eating. So just know the difference there. Prioritizing protein. Really important to be aiming for at least 30 to 40 grams of protein per meal to support hormone balance. This is going to help with blood sugar balance, muscle repair, and hormone production. Okay, protein is so important. You want to be having protein with breakfast, lunch, dinner, and your snack. Okay, my breakfast this morning was 90 grams of cottage cheese, 3 eggs, and some paleo toast, and that was 46 grams of protein. And I am still so full and feel so energized and nourished. And in between that, I'm staying super hydrated. I made sure I had my coffee after eating my breakfast, but that high protein brekkie is set me up for the day, you know? So making sure you're setting yourself up for the day and prioritizing your protein as well. Now, we also want to include good fats, because fats are the building blocks to your hormones. So think things, avocado, nuts, olive oil, eggs. These are all beautiful fats. Even having some meat with a little bit of fat on it as well is okay. But including good fats is really important. We do need to be mindful of our portions. Okay, we don't want to have a whole avocado on our salad because that's going to be very calorie dense, but we do want to include about a quarter of an avocado on our meal, because it's very important to incorporate some good fats so that we are protecting and supporting our hormones, as they are the building blocks. So incorporate them. It's super important, but just be mindful of your portions. Okay, you can also cycle your carbs if you really want to go to like level 3 nutrition with your health. So eat more complex carbs like sweet potatoes, oats, quinoa, and you can eat more of these in your luteal phase when your body needs more energy. So what you could do here is just slightly increase your calories by a couple hundred, and do that with a little bit more carbohydrate to support your energy and to support your body's needs at that time. And then go back to your normal amount during your other phases of your cycle. And you'll probably find that intuitively you don't feel as hungry during your follicular phase and ovulation phase as you do throughout your luteal phase. Now, you'll know this about yourself if you're keeping an active diary on your cycle. Okay. And then most importantly as well, we want to make sure we're supporting our gut health. So your gut helps to detox excess hormones. And so a good way to do this is to make sure that you're getting in your fiber, and if you can tolerate it, adding in some fermented foods and drinking plenty of water. Hydration is so important. I don't want to hear that water's gross and it's boring. It is a necessity. You need it. Like, you cannot survive without water. You know what I mean? So you need to drink it at least 2.5 bare minimum a day. So if you're feeling lost with all of this, don't worry. Okay, there's plenty of blog posts on my website about hormones. You can go to www.reneedaymet.com, and this will also be linked in the show notes below, where you can learn more about hormones, and you can learn more about everything I'm talking about. Also, if you really want to, you can get in contact with me for a strategy session or even a personalized program. So all of that information is in the show notes if you need any help with your hormones and nutrition. Okay, now we're going to move on to how you can train for hormonal health. You do not need to smash yourself in the gym every day to be fit. In fact, that can actually make things worse for your hormones if you're overdoing it. Like I said, over-exercising, under-eating, not good for the hormones. So here's how I recommend you can sync your training with your cycle. What I do really want you to make sure you do is strength train throughout the entire course of your cycle. It is really important. But during menstruation, okay, during days 1 to 5, it's typically around day 2 and 3 that I find for a lot of people, they feel their lowest in energy. So maybe for day 2 and 3, those are the days that you schedule in gentle walks, stretching, yoga, breath work, and you avoid the more high intensity days that you have planned, unless you genuinely feel good and you can do it. Some of my best lifts have been on my period, but there is that day 2 and day 3 where I feel as though you do really need to just listen to your body and scale back on the intensity if it's affecting your energy, okay? So it's not the entire menstruation phase. It's just those couple of days that you're really heavy and your body is just, it's bleeding. It's bleeding and it needs a bit more rest and just gentle breath work or walking. Then we have our follicular phase, which is typically, from day 1 to 14, but follicular phase, day 6 to 13. This is where your estrogen is rising and your energy is coming back. So you start to feel clearer and stronger. This is where I want you to focus on your strength training program you have in place. Add in some intense cardio. Do some more Pilates. This is a great time for you to really push yourself. Go for those heavier weights or even try something new. Try a new workout. It's also really important to incorporate a HIIT session in your week as well, especially with the energy there. Get it done. Work on that VO2 max level. Then you've got your ovulation phase, typically day 14 to 16. Now, this is where testosterone and estrogen peak. Your libido is up. You feel powerful. You probably want to have sex with your partner. This is where you're going to do your hardest sessions, HIIT, heavy lifts, boxing. I personally find the follicular phase is my higher energy phase, and ovulation I do need a lot more sleep, but that's because your body's ovulating, so you do need a little bit more recovery. So work hard but also recover harder. Okay, and just be mindful as well of joint stability. So don't overdo the jumping or plyometrics, but again, strength training and applying that one HIIT session a week, and add in another session if you really want to. Maybe go for a run if you've wanted to try running. Then we have the luteal phase. So this is day 17 to 28, and this is where progesterone takes over. Okay, so that's that more calming hormone, and your energy is going to naturally drop. You might feel a little bit more bloated, hungrier, and slower. Okay, need a lot more sleep during this phase as well. So make sure you're prioritizing the longer sleeps during this phase. Don't be doing 6-hour sleeps. It ain't going to help you with recovery. So focus on your strength training, but maybe you might need to do it at a slower tempo some days, not every day. Okay, we don't want to take listening to our body too far where we never ever strength train, but we're strength training at maybe a slower tempo some days. We might incorporate a little bit more Pilates this week, and we're actively getting in a lot more walking and just, moving our body still, but we might just be changing the intensity a little bit. And you can really support yourself in this phase with just, more food, more carbohydrates for energy, more rest, just less pressure on yourself, but still making sure that you're lifting some weights. But when you train with your body, instead of forcing it, your hormones can actually thrive and you feel so much better mentally and physically. Okay, so hopefully that gives you a little bit of an insight as to how you can really use your cycle and your natural rhythms of your body to get the most out of your training sessions. So now that we've touched on all of that, let's talk about the signs that your hormones need extra support. So if you're experiencing any of these, your hormones might need some love, okay? So if you're feeling constant fatigue, even after sleeping, mood swings, anxiety or low motivation, irregular cycles or really painful periods, acne, hair loss or unwanted hair growth, trouble losing weight despite eating well and training. This one here can be a little bit controversial because sometimes if we're trying to lose weight, we're not actually actively in a calorie deficit. Now, they have done pee samples on some women who say they've tried every diet, they're in a calorie deficit, and they've done pee samples to test actually how many calories these people are consuming, and they've actually consumed a lot more calories than what they've thought. So generally, we need to make sure that I'm talking about this again because a lot of people struggle to lose weight because they're not actively in a calorie deficit, even though they think they are, and that's not your fault. It's just you might need a little bit of help and guidance in the tracking and the understanding your portion side of things. But there are some cases where the thyroid function really affects someone's ability to lose weight, and they have trouble with it. So, in some cases, your hormones can really affect your ability to lose weight, even if you're doing everything. But in most cases, it can come down to not tracking correctly, not doing a few of the things that we need to be doing correctly, and have them in place. So, just be mindful of that one. But constant bloating and digestive issues as well. So those are your kind of key indicators that there's something that needs support in your body. And I want you to use these signs and symptoms as your body communicating with you. This isn't an answer for you to push harder. It's actually a chance for you to take a step back, listen, reflect, and start to support your body with what it needs. I find sometimes, in some cases with clients that are feeling anxious, it's because they're lacking in a nutrient. They're not eating enough protein, or they've just been, skipping meals and eating really high sugar, high carbohydrate meals without any protein. or they're vegetarian and they're not getting enough plant-based proteins. And this is really affecting their energy, their mood and libido, and their cycles are now irregular. So it can literally be a change in your diet. It can be a change in your exercise routine that can really help make a difference with your hormones. And if you go 3 months with consistently and honestly following a protocol that is going to help your health in such a beautiful way, and you're seeing absolutely no changes in accordance to your biofeedback, that's when you need to go to your GP and get further testing done. Okay, but there is so much we can do to help our bodies and to help our hormones and our health through exercise, building muscle, good nutrition, and managing our stress and our sleep. So yes, we can do a lot on our own, but I don't want to disregard the fact that you do need to reach out to a health professional if you have got serious concerns about your hormone health, because you may need to go in for further testing and get some things looked at. Just remember that you don't have to do this on your own and in silence, and do reach out for help. Don't suffer in silence. Advocate for yourself. Advocate for yourself as a woman who demands to get things looked at because she needs to, and she's finding she's having issues. You are not going crazy. You are not just stressed. You are not just overwhelmed. You're allowed to advocate for yourself and your health. And I want to make that very clear to you. Okay? So beautiful. If there's one thing I want you to take away from today, it's that your hormones aren't something to fix. They're something for you to work with. They're communicating to you. They're helping you to understand that certain things in your body need a little bit of attention. Okay? You have a unique rhythm. And when you understand how to eat, train, and live in alignment with it, everything shifts. You feel more powerful, less burnt out, and you feel more like yourself. And that's powerful. If you loved this episode, please share it with a friend, or tag me on Instagram at Renee Diment, or leave a review, because it really helps more women to learn this amazing information, to reclaim their health and ditch the burnout cycle that we have been brought up in. And I mean, enough with the push through culture already. I'm done with it. I'm so done with it. So I hope this episode has helped you understand a little bit more about your hormones and your health. If you want personalized help, check out my website, or check out the links below where you can get yourself booked in to a strategy session, okay, which is how I can put a plan into place for you, or create a personalized program for you. Or if you want to join the Cycle Sync Club, there's more information listed below in the show notes. This is my new club, my new program designed to help you train, nourish, and live in alignment with your body. So until next time, be kind to yourself, listen to your body truthfully. Okay, don't use it as an excuse not to do anything, but listen to your body truthfully. And remember, your best self isn't a grind away. She's already with you. All right, have the best day of your life, and I look forward to having you listen in on my next episode.